So why don't you start off by telling me about yourself as an artist?
Well, I had just graduated my Lesley in May. And I'm really fascinated with classical art. And I thought, well, if I go to art school, I might get a little bit of the same treatment there. And that is like, you know, um, you know, drawing models, painting them. I would look, I would be really inspired by a lot of classical artists, so I had lots of books about it. But after a while, it's only short-lived. So after that, I got a little bit sad because even looking up to these artists of the past, a lot of them didn't represent enough or had hardly any Black people in them. So I started to just feel like maybe I can make my own narrative, and this is at least at this point it's 2020, so at 2020 and COVID was going on, I was still coming up with something because I know when I was going to be an upperclassman at Lesley, I was going to be making my own work and I needed a narrative. So I just started to make a lot of like uh art that centers around Black femininity a little bit more, whether it be a lot of natural hair products and head wraps and things like that, and practicing to make skin tones, especially Black skin tones, brown skin, because even though there's successful Black artists today, a lot of their work, they make skin have like less humanistic looking colors sometimes. So I kind of just I wanted to really learn how to make skin. I don't want to end up be making a skin tone that doesn't really resemble what it should look like. That's just me. There's nothing wrong with that. Like if someone is making a statement with it, that's great. But I was really studying it. Even in my art books about like classical art and painting, they don't really include all skin tones too. So in the future, I would hope to utilize my skills more and make my own art book in color, various of different ethnicities and other, cultures and things like that. But for now, as I was a senior, I had a little bit of a hard time as a senior at Lesley. I had a lot of really like a traumatic experience in I think in my like first section of my senior year. My mom got sick a little, and I had to I went to come visit her for a little bit. Um, and then during that time, there was I guess a motorcyclist got injured in front of us, and
Oh,
yeah, we witnessed pretty much something really horrible with that, and that kind of stressed me because it reminded me of my past a lot. So art also helped me uh forget the monstrosities a little. Like it was a source for me to illustrate them, but just a silver lining as well. So with all these horrible experiences, and then a couple months go by, like let's say it's like 2022.
mhm.
um I had a lot of stressors, and recently, I guess beginning of this year, I had my grandfather passed and my pet passed away in the sim close in time. So I had to think like I paint a lot about beauty now. Like it was around that type of art. So I was like, does that really matter? Like it does, but it just right now it's like, who are we? Like what is really the beauty here? What is my life experiences have been? How, just a lot of it was centered around like human experiences. And so I thought about I actually was ended up sick of like a thyroid disorder too. So I just was going through so many things at once, and I was like, I have to let me just illustrate stillness. So I if well, it's in my folder, but I made a work that is representing me in fatigue, but I kind of painted it in a way where it's really embodying the stillness and beauty within just resting, but in more of like uh embracing what's uh currently happening, but pushing through with it. So yeah, and then I'm trying to also embody personality, and more values of within the self, rather than it being more so heavily on identity politics. Because
So
even after, yeah,
what school did you go to? Are you talking about college?
yeah, I went to Lesley University,
Okay.
for art and design. I graduated in 2023.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, so what do you have a series or body of work you're working on, or just you been working on individual pieces, or how exactly,
Right.
what's your process?
Right. Oh, well, my process right now is um I I haven't worked on much lately since I've graduated because I'm pretty stressed right now, so I'm looking for a job. But in my off time, I it will be making a series of what I was aforementioning. Like right now, I'm just sort of brewing up ideas on my off time, but they're just simple sketches. I start off with a thumbnail sketch first.
Okay.
A tiny little drawing, and then I put it on a either a large canvas or medium sized. Um, in college, I worked a lot with large pieces, so that was really fun. But it is expensive, so I had to work smaller, and now I'm just gonna work towards like 20 by 16s.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So, as an African American female, what are you really trying to convey to your audience? Tell me.
Um, well, in my work, I want to just in just show people like the small moments. I feel like we take them uh we don't value them enough. I feel like sometimes like I really value family outings a lot, and hanging out with friends and just a moment, like capturing just a moment of time hanging out, whether it's all laughing together at the table. Um so I've been really heavy on that as well. I wish my other family members were alive to like capture those moments. Because even in one of my works, I wanted to illustrate all different kinds of ethnicities of Black people, because there's so many different cultures that we have,
Yeah.
um that that could be shown to the world, because I feel like we're not just a monolith, we're not just like one way, we're just so many other things.
Yes. Yes. So you're hoping that your audience engages with that, and you kind of educate them about people of color.
Yeah, but it doesn't always it could just also be about like more than race. It could just be more of on the psychology of all of us and why we are the way we are.
Yeah.
Family values, like why was some react more angrily than the next person? Why did this person be more uh chill about something that typically would have made someone else, just more on the psychology on
Yeah.
the inside, like the internal. But obviously the work will be representational, but it's not the main source.
Yes.
Yeah.
Have you ever had an exhibition yet?
I had one in I it was like around, I think it was like May 18th. It was a senior exhibition show, and then I had another one in November um in the Vandernoot Gallery. It's the same area in Cambridge of Lesley, so I had that. Um, I forgot what it was named, but it's on my CV. Um, and yeah, it was really interesting. I'm still right now, like I'm
So how
just
did you
trying
like?
to check.
How did it feel to you to exhibit your work?
I felt really okay, at first it was overwhelming, but then it was like, okay, I got to get used to this.
Well,
Um
overwhelming. Why do you think it?
Overwhelming as in like, you know, because I make paintings and a lot of my peers didn't really paint. A lot of them made, yeah, they made a little bit of different work. Like there are artists in my that group at the time that made paintings, but they might have done drawings, more big drawings, or but I had made paintings, so a lot of the work was sort of I kind of got a bit of attention from it, and
Oh,
didn't expect it because I thought I'd be overlooked. Like, because I even in school, like in my classes, I always felt sort of overlooked sometimes. Yeah, it was like a rough
he told
hard
you
school.
about me. Evidently
Yeah,
not, because he told me about you, and I was like, "Oh wow, your work
yeah,
is gorgeous."
thank you. Yeah, I really take my work seriously. Like I would paint like 8 hours a day, or towards around 8 hours. Yeah, I paint for a very long time because I want to perfect everything I'm doing, like, and how I want it to look. So and of course, I'm still like, at the time when I was in college, um, I had other classes, right? I had my English, my science, and my math. So I would like spend either a long time in the library or a long time in the studio, and sometimes it was both. 4 hours in the library, 4 hours in the studio, and then shoot, I'd even show up on the weekends at school and paint. Yeah, like.
I'm an oil painter, so I understand.
Mhm.
Like once you get into it, you kind of lose yourself, don't you?
Yes,
You
time
lose,
will go by.
yeah, you lose track of time. So, what direction do you want your art to go in? What would you like to do with it?
Man, that's so I kind of thought about becoming an art professor in the future.
Oh,
Yeah, like, but in my mid 30s because I want my own shine for now.
yeah,
Yeah, like that's where I'm struggling with now, like how I can juggle work and painting and, getting into solos right now. So I'm stuck on that. And I would like to just make enough decisions so that I'm okay.
yeah,
But then enough to where I have something to present to other people. And if they and I don't want just like I want all demographics to enjoy my work, not just one like group of people that they see themselves in. Like
yeah.
I want it because again, like my work, it could be just anyone could be part of it and just know my experience or the experience of the work itself and be like, I relate to this, like because
Yes.
it's a human experience.
Yes. Oh, a human experience. Okay. Do you want to exhibit around the world?
I hope so, if it's possible. Yeah,
That would be cool. That would be
yeah.
cool. So, what kind of advice would you have for artists that are young artists in high school or younger that want to get into art, for emerging artists?
Okay. Well, one thing I will tell them is go like know what you really want, and if you want to go to art school, do it, and really get it situated with financials and scholarships and things like that. Listen to your teachers. And another thing is, do not take art critiques to heart. To try your like I feel like when I started art school, I felt so like I was sensitive, but it's like you're an artist, and it's understandable why you're sensitive about it, especially if you're talking about yourself and you're in expressing your needs. Just practice, keep practicing, keep drawing, and whatever you're shooting for, go towards that route. um and don't let toxic introversion like become consume you. So I'm a painful introvert. and and there's nothing wrong with being an introvert. I like It's just more like I feel like when things happen to you, you sort of just shut down. Like, don't shut down, and
Yeah.
just really put yourself like if like have a social skill to like talk to others that will really listen to you and pay attention to you and admire you. Don't force yourself with a group of people that don't really want you around, like, because that does happen. Like that happened to me a lot in school. So, be around people that will cheer on for you and things like that. Have a support system.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Okay. Do you have any else thing you would like to share about yourself?
Um, Geez. I mean, let's see. I right now, um, I want to just say right now I'm still starting out. I just graduated like in May, so things are a little hard. I still live with my parents. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just it's just so different than other majors where you're like you go you go to study something like for science like or biology and you can jump right away into a job. Like no, it's right now I'm sort of like trying to know where I'm going through with life and doing some research on galleries. But yeah, when I do go into my MFA potentially, I want to become an art professor. Yeah, a job. But because there's this big phenomenon about artists and being part of a white collar job and it's a mark for failure. But no, it's merely so that you can support yourself. And I want at least in right now I'm like 23, so from a decade from now, I feel like I would have just enough info, skills, and just knowledge of like life experience as well as education
Yes.
to help my students. Because like if I go for my MFA and then go become an art professor at like 24, 25, it would be kind of strange to me, like to me personally. Like I would like I'm telling like a someone who's way older than me about their work now. Yes, I can critique it, but I feel like there's more to art than just subject matter and just like subject that matters like such as social issues or like it can be just a more of a larger experience. So I want to really have a lot more knowledge of like life, wisdom, what they call it, right? Like
Yes.
wisdom.
Okay.
Yep,
Thank
okay.
you so much, Jahnae. I
Yep,
appreciate it.
yep. Thank you. See you later.
Bye bye.